Hi, and welcome to RedRum Media. Thank you for checking out our channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you turn on that notification bell. Hit the all option so you get all the notifications when we go live and when we upload new content. Drop a comment below, let us know what you think.
She told me like afterwards.
When you say met her, you mean like went on a date with her?
No, I never went on a date with her until she was in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
You're just like flirting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was natural flirting back and forth, and that was just like, I knew that, like, with that video timing, I probably just looked like I was like, felt guilty for even talking to the girl at work.
Well, you probably did, right?
Yeah.
Any domestic violence in your house? Like,
No, like we never.
this is strange to us to
Even
have.
from her to you, I mean,
Yeah.
she gets mad when she's pregnant and grabs a knife or
No, like
scratches you or smacks you around or nothing?
No, she's never like nothing.
Okay.
That's what makes all this even more hard to understand from my standpoint, and from yours too.
Yeah.
Did she ever belittle you at all? Did you ever feel that way, maybe?
What was that?
Did she ever make you feel like she belittled you, or you felt belittled by her?
I mean, there's always points like in a marriage where like, you know, the dominant person like, you know, takes control of
Sure.
everything. But like, you know, I was just, my whole life I just kind of went with the flow. Like I never like put myself in the center of attention. I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be in the background.
Do you feel like a different person wearing those patches?
Especially like the duo, the burn. I mean, it felt. I mean, like the Apple Watches. Like if you look on it, like when it tells you to exercise, it says I was exercising like all day because my heart rate was like up.
Oh.
Just from those patches.
Was it full of caffeine or what?
They just have something. They had something in them. I mean, the black label ones, the longer black ones, those had caffeine in them, but it never had that effect. I mean, the duo burn ones, the ones that are more of like the fat loss type, it felt like I was working out all day, even though I wasn't.
Oh, were you tired?
I mean, I know at some points, even Nikki said that, like, you know, I'd fall asleep on the couch, on her couch while I was talking to her, and then, like, pick back up like I never knew I fell asleep, which I don't know if it was, like, an insomnia thing or what, but, like, I wasn't sleeping much, you know?
You had a lot going on then.
Yeah, but those are the only patches I really felt like a real big difference on, just because it felt like I was working out all day.
Mm-hmm. You don't feel like they changed your personality or anything like that, though, or do you?
I don't really know. I know I just felt different on those than any other patch. I felt like I could just go longer and longer each day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure like if that was probably a bad thing, because I don't think I was probably sleeping more than 3 hours a night.
So would you stay when Shanann was gone, would you stay with Nikki and then go home for like to get ready for work?
Yeah, I just wake up at like 4:30 and go home and get ready for work and leave. And I just work out when I got back home.
Mm-hmm.
What were the conversations with Nikki as far as at some point you guys were talking about her helping you find an apartment? So what did you guys talk about as far as your future together?
That didn't really happen until like I got back from the beach. So I told her like I lied to her like, hey, you know, like I had talked to Shanann about getting a separation.
And that talk hadn't happened yet?
No, I mean it kind of like. She knew something was going on, and things. I mean, we weren't sleeping in the same room, and then she, you know, she even mentioned the fact like, hey, you know, Colorado's a 50-50 state or something like that, and I was like, okay, well, I guess she looked it up. But you know, that actual talk hadn't like actually happened. I was just like, I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah. And so in conversations with Nikki, and I get it. I mean, you're telling her like the progress toward the divorce is a little bit more than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then so what were you guys planning?
So it was more of like she was gonna help me find an apartment that was affordable. That's kind of just around like Brighton or maybe just close to work, like another Fort Lupton or something around there. That's kind of like where my area was.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk about moving in with her?
She didn't want that.
She didn't want that. Would you
No.
have done that if she would have been cool with that?
I've been a little too soon. I would have thought there was just, we'd only been really seeing each other like almost like a month, or maybe just talking about 2 months. That would have been really. She called her house, like her apartment, like her. I don't know, like her, kind of like a shield, or kind of like her.
What were you thinking about when you called the school that day, on Monday?
I was freaking out. I didn't know, like I was thinking in my head, like what I just did, what I just done, and I didn't know, like it was stupid to do anything. Just, to call the school, to call Ann, to call anybody. They were right to be, suspicious about anything. Like, 'cause I knew I probably sounded eccentric on the phone and out of sorts, and just, I don't even know what they were thinking. They heard me.
I think they thought it was weird, but I don't know how you would not sound weird, like you said.
So, are you 100% sure the girls were still around and alive when you drove out? Okay. So that's completely accurate. There's nothing else about that.
They got in the truck.
Okay.
Where did the blanket go?
It's probably in the trash can or something, I think.
In the trash?
It wasn't like, it was still in my truck.
Okay. We thought we saw some GPS where you had stopped by near a construction roll-off dumpster. Is that true, or?
I think that's like, I dumped my clothes in there.
So that would have been on the way back to the house?
In my neighborhood.
Yeah. When Officer Kunab was there? Okay.
So once the girls were gone, was it also just a minute-by-minute thing as far as the oil tanks?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. Just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to throw up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and it just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was like going up the stairs, and it just didn't. No, like what Frank said, is like I was trying to separate everybody. That's not.
No.
No, I didn't want to separate anybody.
What was the reason?
I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
Can we talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that?
Oh, with
There were two.
okay. Yeah, I was trying to, because like she kept. I didn't want to, like when I was putting the one coherent, I guess, thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
So what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head, so they didn't have to see.
Okay. And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
Yeah, they didn't know this one.
Okay. That's good.
I just know, like when I was driving up there, they were just, sitting there just, kind of asleep, or kind of just like, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps. I didn't.
Do you remember having any thoughts or thinking about why not just putting them all together with Shanann?
Honestly, it was just happening so fast. I had no time to really have a thought that was my own.
Okay.
But I wasn't like dutifully trying to separate anybody, passing away, trying to keep anybody separate. And everything, Frank, Sandy, and Frankie said, I don't hold it against them. They can hate me for they have a right to hate me for the rest of their lives.
They don't hate
They
you.
don't. In fact, while we're on the subject, I speak with them weekly, and I told them that we were going to come here and then hopefully would speak with us. And they told me to tell you, understandably, they're devastated. But they actually said that they love you. They still love you. And Sandy explained it. You know, he's our son-in-law for 8 years. I can't just turn that off. So they don't hate you.
And
We were all in shock. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, that was like,
It's like we were going 100 miles an hour, and then we just hit a brick wall. Like, that's what it felt like to all of us. So, I mean, obviously you had more time to
yeah, I mean,
contemplate it than
yeah,
us.
I told John and Kate and Sophia and everybody, Amy, hey, if we can just stop this, and like, I know it's, you know, everybody's telling me to fight this, you know, there's no like, there's like, everybody's saying there's like not enough evidence to such this and that, and I'm just like, no, this needs to end. Like, I don't want people to have to, because for Frank and everybody to have to fly back to Colorado every single time and get reminded of this, like, I'm not sure, it's never going to go away, but to actually have to come and talk about it, have other people talk about it, have, you know, all three of you get on the witness stand and say, you know, what they saw, what they've seen, you know, what they heard on tapes and everything like that. It's just like, I don't want people to relive that over and over and over again for years. Like, if I could just end this for everybody, and then like, if there's any closure at all, they could, you know, it could start then instead of like in 2022.
Right.
You know, like, you know, and everything just like, 'cause I know it'd only get worse for everybody.
So did it have anything to do with you not having the death penalty?
No, like, I mean, honestly, like, when I was sitting in that cell, I felt like I should have died. I mean, I was listening to everybody telling me, like, hey, if you do this and this, you can hang yourself in that cell, you could do this and that.
They were like telling you stuff.
Yeah,
you could
you
do.
could drown yourself in the toilet if you wanted to fill your toilet bowl up or something like that. It was, they've been there a bunch of times. And, like, you know, at one point I was listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just like, you know, I just felt like maybe there's a different purpose for me somewhere.
I know there was like, wasn't her phone found on the couch or between the couch cushions? Like, did you plant all that
I
stuff?
just threw it in there.
You just threw it in
Yeah,
there? Why did you do that?
I don't know what was going on that morning. Like, even like, you know, her watch, her phone, like, you know, if I was actually, like, if I'd planned this, I would probably just take it out to the field or something, you know. But,
What
you
about
know,
her ring and stuff? What were you thinking about that?
It's like, you know, maybe she actually really wanted a divorce. Maybe she didn't want to fix it. Just put it there on the counter.
She took it off? Or did you take it off?
I took it off.
Okay. Oh, so that would look like she was saying, I want a divorce, I'm leaving it here when I'm taken off. I see.
So the phone and her watch and the couch, was that morning before you left to go to service? Okay.
That's, I think, Nicole's son found it or something.
Yeah.
What other things did you do that maybe we even missed?
Tried the phone and the watch. I mean, I think I threw the therapy book she wanted me to read in the trash. I don't know.
That was that morning?
I think so.
Were you trying to make it look like she threw it in the trash?
I don't know. I just like,
Oh.
I just didn't think nothing was ever going to work again. So I didn't know what was going on.
Did you go down to the basement? I thought the basement door opened.
Yeah, the door is open, but yeah. So there was a lot of movement, you know, I think it was around 4:26 or something. And the garage door opening, the basement door opening, and then of course the living room sensors and all. Do you remember what you were doing all during that time? Other than
You had a lot of
going in and out the
steps.
garage.
I'll just say that.
Okay. So like the basement, I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I really have down there is my workout, the bench press and whatnot.
Do you remember going down there for anything or opening that door for anything? Did you think about, well, maybe I'll take her out that way, or is it a walkout basement?
No.
I wasn't at your house.
No,
Okay.
it's like a garden level basement. So
Okay.
But no, I don't remember really. I don't think it worked out that morning.
Like, were you packing your lunch in the kitchen? Like, did you have
yeah.
to do all that normal
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely packed the lunch and everything.
One of the more kind of poignant or tender moments in all of this was seeing you with your dad when he came in. What was it like when you picked him up at the airport?
It was very strange. It was kind of like I almost knew this was probably the last time I'd ever see him on the outside. In my head, I knew that.
Yeah. What'd you guys talk about?
Honestly, like, he just wanted to talk about sports. He just wanted, like, you know, he's always the kind of, like, you know, distance himself from like a problem type thing. Like, you know, when, like, if there's ever an issue or anything like that, he always want to talk about, like, just bring up, like, when I would try to get him to quit smoking, like, all the time. Like, this is after, like, I graduated high school and whatnot. He would.
Are you talking about cigarettes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he would always, like, just change stuff. He'd be like, oh, you know what happened in the race? Football, just something. I mean, he just never wanted, like, you know, he said, okay, oh, yeah, I'll get to it. And he just, boom, something else. And, you know, I just kind of felt like it was kind of like that. You know, like, he asked, like, a few questions, like, you know, do you know where they're at? And do you think, you know where they're at or anything like that? I just, you know, told him no.
Is it possible he saw that you were in a stressful situation and wanted to do what he always did, make things comfortable?
I think that was a good way to put it.
I bet you picked up a lot of that from him.
Yeah, because I mean, stressful situations, like, I mean, the gray hair didn't show it, but, like, I try not to be in stress. But, you know, it's like, you know, I worked on cars. There was a lot of stress because it's always, you know, it's on commission. You know, you get paid what you do, not by showing up. So that's how it worked.
So do you think your dad had any inkling? Because I'm trying to remember the timing. He showed up when you were still walking around. You weren't in any trouble yet when Ronnie came in.
Yeah, I had met with dude the night before for like 3 or 4 hours. And then I was at Nick and Amanda's house.
Okay.
And I was there, and that's when I went to go pick him up.
Okay. And you picked him up. It was early that morning, right?
He was like 10:30, I think, when his flight came in.
Okay. And then so from there, you guys probably drove home and then to the police station.
Yep.
And the talks there were no type of confession from you. Okay.
No, it was like, he was just gonna wait.
Okay.
I told him, like, you know, if you're hungry, there's like that barbecue joint down the street, and, like, you know, it's good. And just, you know, he told me he never left.
He didn't. I wasn't lying.
Yeah.
He was faithful. He was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he lasted that long without food.
We ended up giving him food.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was great. And the reason I ask is because when I look back and watch the video, now knowing what I know after talking to you today, I can see how genuine he was. But I just didn't know if you.
What were you thinking about during your media interviews?
I didn't want to do it.
Why did you do it? Did you feel like you had to do it?
I felt like, you know, they would have just kept knocking on my door until I answered it. And, like, I didn't even set it up, but, you know, Nicole Atkinson set it up. She told me, hey, Fox
Is she the one who set it up?
She said Fox is going to be at your house at 10:30. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. And, you know, I think I even called you about it, like, what do you recommend that I do? And he's like, it's kind of up to you. I'm like, okay. And I called one of her friends, you know, what should I do? And she said I probably wouldn't do it, but I just felt like, you know, I don't even want to know what I said, what I looked like on there, because I knew it. Some people said it just made it look even worse after the fact, but
It didn't look good. I mean, obviously we can't say, oh, we knew right then he was lying, but I think we all watched it together and went, this might be bad.
yeah, I mean,
I had that feeling after I watched it. So I could kind of see it in your face. You talked to Nikki afterwards, after all this happened?
on the 13th and the 14th.
What was that conversation like?
It was the 13th. It's kind of like, you know, it was more text and then maybe a phone call, like a phone call, and then she thought maybe Shanann like took off with the kids, like just because that's what I was telling her I didn't know where they were and all that. And then the 14th, she kind of like, I think she kind of thought something may have happened because they hadn't come back.
Why do you say that she might have thought that?
Or, she kept asking me like some weird questions. Like she kept asking like questions that only I would know, but she was testing to see if like it was actually me on the phone. Like,
what do you mean?
Like she would ask like, like what's my dog's name, or like what do I like, what yoga studio do I go to, or something like that. And just like, like I just answer like I'm, and then like another thing, I'm not sure if this is you. I'm just like, okay.
Is this through text or is this through calls?
Text.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't hearing your voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible she thought you'd been arrested and we were on the phone?
Either Shanann had my phone or somebody else had my phone, or
Right.
like maybe maybe she thought it was.
Well, hopefully Shanann would know all the answers to those questions, right?
No. This is Nikki asking me.
Yeah, but if she's asking you your name of your dog and what yoga studio, and
Yeah.
like, wouldn't
Well,
Shanann know that?
maybe she thought, maybe I was with Shanann. That she was just trying to find out who she was. But yeah, like some of the conversation, like on the 14th, got a little weird. I think that's when she met with CBI or something, or FBI. I'm not sure who she met with first.
So she talked to you after she met with?
No.
Oh, she
that
did.
was like she had told me like, this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place. All this is all going on.
When your dad came in, one of the first things you guys talked about, he said, kind of quietly, I cheated on her, I cheated on Shanann or something. Your dad didn't know until that time?
No, they had, when I was in North Carolina on August 6th, when I spent most of the day with my parents and my sister and everybody, they had, I had told them like something like, this, I don't think this is going to work, like, with what happened with the nuts and everything, and they're not being able to see the kids, they're like, this is the first time they had talked to me, and pretty much.
Oh, because you went 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, because Shanann told me to call him while I was at the beach just to smooth everything out, because she was like, all right, whatever's going on in your head, you need to fix this. But she didn't want the kids to see him. She didn't want to see him. And then like when I did see him on August 6th, it was after I went and saw my grandmother. She's in a nursing home. And she still wouldn't go see my parents or anybody with the kids. So I just told her to leave me there. My dad would come pick me up, and spent the whole day there. And I just they were they said they want to see the kids. They just don't know if they could ever just forgive Shanann for everything that happened that day. I guess I'm not sure everything that was said that day when they had that argument, but apparently it was like a knockdown, drag out bomb that went on there.
Pretty hurtful things.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And they just don't know if they could ever forgive her or not. And I just I never told them about cheating on her. They even asked me, is there somebody else?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So they could kind of sense maybe something's going on.
Yeah, because Nikki was texting me the entire time I was over there.
Oh.
So they could kind of see I was texting somebody.
There are quite a few people who would tell us and who do tell us you need to look into Nikki more, Nikki Kissinger. All the way from the extreme end of things being Nikki's the one who ordered the hit.
She was there, hiding in the basement.
She was there.
Yeah.
So the extreme is she's the one who told Chris to do it. She's the real problem. All the way, that's the extreme side, and then all the way to, well, there were these texts where she was infatuated, she was in love, she was saying how good Chris was in the sack, and maybe we should look at her more. What would you say to those people?
She had her moments where I had to talk her off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
I guess after the fact, there was videos of her that she was recording herself because she was bipolar or something. I never knew that, but it's and she would get worked up about nothing. She would just she came to my house once because I think it was July 4th. I didn't have to work that day, so I didn't get up at 4 o'clock and go home. And Shanann had called me 10 times in a row, and I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. And I was just and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her outside, like, where are you at? Like, what? Like, you know, I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like, you called me at like, 5:30. It's like, kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, she just like, screw you, like, like I don't know where you're at. And on the phone. And I went back inside. Something like, I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, are you coming back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place when
Yeah.
Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because
I got you.
I didn't have to that day. It was the first holiday I ever had off. And, like that, where she would go, she said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody, like will a mistress work, will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you
She
heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on websites and look at stuff like that. I was like, why do you even look at stuff like that? She's like, I just want to see what other people have experienced.
But like, so that confuses me though, because I thought earlier you were saying she thought you were heading toward a divorce. So why was she looking at herself as a mistress?
This was later on.
Oh.
Like,
okay.
in August, like the first week of August, when I told her, like, I had to have that talk with her about separation.
Uh-huh.
That's when, like, she started looking at, like, apartments and stuff. But, like, during our July relationship type thing there.
Oh, I see.
That's when she was looking up, like, will it actually work? And she told her friend Brittany about it, I guess, and Brittany told her not to do it, but she said she already made her decision.
Okay. And so, are those people absolutely wrong about Nikki? She wasn't asking you to get rid of your family?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. And no part of any of this was because she put it in your head or asked you to, or?
No, she never. I mean, this whole relationship contributed to it.
Sure.
But she didn't want me to.
I mean, was it ever like, I wish you didn't have kids, I want to have, kids of my own with you, like?
She never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she said that, at one point she said, I'd like to give you a son.
Okay.
Can we go back to the house on the 13th? So, at one point, right when you got back there, and Coonrod was there, Officer Coonrod, and Nicole was there, and then you went in the house in there for about a minute or so before you let everybody in. Remember what you were doing in there at that time?
I went into the garage,
Right.
and then I ran around and I opened the front door.
Yeah.
Opened the front door did everybody come in through the garage or the front door?
Everybody came through the front door.
Yeah, so I came in, I went in through there, I came in, opened the front door, and I ran upstairs. And I just was like I was looking around.
Okay. That's after everybody? Did you go around the house at all before you opened the front door? No.
I didn't run around the house. I stayed down on the bottom floor, and then went and opened the door.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
And I ran upstairs and everybody else, and that's when Nicole's son was on the phone, and I was acting like I was walking through the house.
Yeah.
Shanann had her bra on. Was that normal that she would sleep in her bra?
Every once in a while. I mean, she just got home from the plane. She didn't even take off her makeup or anything. Maybe she was just that tired. But normally, I don't know.
Did it not come off when you guys had sex?
I don't think so.
Did you have to see any of that stuff? Pictures or anything? No.
I asked not to.
Okay.
They said I could. I was like, no, I don't want. I've prayed for those hazmat workers. That I'm sure it was hazmat, right? That had the.
You were part of it.
Yeah. And like.
We were all there.
We were all there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I never wanted to see it. I just prayed for that. I'd rather have to be there. I never wanted to know what the aftermath was. And they said, like, if this ever got like a preliminary hearing, that I would have to see him just to be prepared and not have a reaction, an initial reaction. But I was like, I don't want to see him.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you? Yeah.
Yeah, they were my only human contact, really.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like almost like a guidance counselor almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus though, with your decisions you made?
Yeah,
or
I
no?
was like, there was a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like
Sure.
maybe there was a lot of things they never told me. Did they have to ever see the pictures?
Wait, say that
Did
again?
they have to ever see the pictures? Frank and Sandy and all that?
No, they've never seen it.
They saw some things.
They didn't see anything of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we shielded that from them.
That's one thing. I just didn't want them to have to see anything or hear anybody talk about anything or any part of it. Or like, anybody bashed their daughter, like anybody to ruin, like, to hear what, some of my friends had a negative, impact on her, from her, or like had a description of her that didn't match, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either. Like, I didn't want them, like, anybody have to trash her memory. Like I wanted like them to know like she's loving life, she's beautiful, she always helped everybody else, all her friends, her Lucas friends, everybody. I just wanted I didn't want anybody to take away from what she did.
We tried to get you to say that night. I know. But do you remember that?
I remember. I was just like,
I know you obviously weren't ready to say that then.
I know. It's like, like after my dad left, we both came in like, all right, we got most of the story. Let's get to the true story. I'm just like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
So they're coming. I think they're gonna try to make a visit in like May or so.
So they don't. Do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason. But they think that I was their words like railroaded by the legal team.
Yeah.
Because they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
No.
No.
No, they asked me plenty of times. This is like, they wanted to fight. Like if I said fight, they would have just, gone and,
Put on their gloves.
yeah, just went in there and did it. Yeah, it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it? Okay.
I have to say, like, after this was all over, people would bring up, like, oh my gosh, I bet you're going to find out that Chris, used to torture animals and, all this stuff. You can imagine, like, hearing that someone's capable of that, what have they done in their past, those kinds of things. Can you think back to your past at all, like your childhood, and think about any other moments that maybe you felt this same rage? I mean, obviously you didn't do anything like that, but maybe felt that rage and like what would have triggered that or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I was always like somebody that tried to coax people down, not to, like, if somebody wanted to fight somebody else. I think I got in a fight like when I was in 3rd grade, but it was like, we ripped each other's shirt, went away crying.
Mm-hmm.
It was like stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, why did I do that? And like maybe that was like my only like bad thing I did in school.
I know you talked about your dad having an addiction when I was talking to you.
That was after I left, left home.
Was it cocaine or something, or?
It was some type of powder. I'm not sure. I guess it was cocaine. I guess
How do you think that affected you?
I don't think it affected me. Well, it did affect me, but it didn't like take like deep down. It didn't like really hurt as much as I thought it would. It was kind of weird because when I think of my mom or my sister told me, like when they talked to him about it, it didn't seem to register. Like I said, like he would just change subject, and like when I talked about it, he eventually immediately changed subject. I was like, because they found like, cuts on his like CDs and stuff where he would like, separate it and stuff like that. Because he at a car dealership, I mean, you find guys that do that kind of stuff all the time, I guess. But he was just coping with like, I never came back home. And because before I met Shanann, and it was just.
Did you feel guilty that he's now using drugs because he never came back home, like he lost his kid?
I never really knew why he was doing it. After the fact, I knew it was because he was coping with that, but I never knew why he really actually turned to drugs. My mom thought he was having an affair because like, all this money was going somewhere else just for the drugs, but like I'm not myself, I never used drugs, so I always try to tell him like, hey, like what's going on, like why you need to use this, and just like you could be using this for a whole lot better things, you know, just don't throw your life away. I mean, like, because you could see in his face, like, you know, it's like eyes or like everything was getting like, you know, like the drugs through your face, and like your skin was getting all loose, and like he was losing a lot of weight. His nose was bleeding all the time, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was just telling him like, hey, you know, you smoked like every day of your life since you were like 15 or 16. And like, you know, I can't get you to stop that, but I get you to stop this.
Right.
And he put it away, I guess, pretty quick after I talked to him about it.
I wondered if they hadn't visited because they weren't ready to visit, or if it was a money thing, or you know, like
Visit here
getting the
or
time off.
Colorado?
Yeah, you like
Visit here?
Yeah, visit here.
Well, I just told him like, well, we can't drive in the snow, so it's kind of like, you know, I don't want. It's
These
just,
roads are bad.
Yeah, it's I think it's like an hour from either Madison Airport, whichever way it is. I told him like wait till springtime.
Good advice.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
It was yesterday.
Do they have money to get here?
They sold my toolbox to get some money to come out here.
Okay.
So yeah, so they'll come out here and like they said April, but I was like, you know, just maybe push it till June. They said they can somehow have a blizzard out here in April sometimes too. Like
the late spring blizzard,
so lake effect stuff is crazy.
Yeah. And are you in Gen Pop right now?
No, I'm in a unit. There's like 11 or 12 of us on there. There was like 22 when I first got there, but they've been transferred to the other prisons around Wisconsin.
And what are the other guys like?
They're fine. Like the first time, like I sat out and ate like a breakfast or lunch with them, I was scared.
Are you nervous, scared?
Yeah, I was just like, this hasn't happened. Like, you know, since this never happened.
Yeah.
Like I said, they locked the hallways down when I got moved to Colorado.
Yeah, well, I've heard that. Yeah.
So it was like, you know, being next, like right like this, eating next to somebody, I was just like, is he gonna like take a spork and try to stab me or something, or what? But it's totally different here. I mean, people know who I am, but like they don't like, you know, run at me or jump at me or like. Apparently the guys that work here, they know that I guess other maxes are like you lock down like 23, 22 hours a day.
Oh, so then this is an alright place to be?
For like
By
other
comparison?
max guys.
Good.
Yeah. They said it's the best max but the worst medium.
Oh.
What kind of stuff like food and stuff do you miss the most from the outside?
Food?
Yeah.
Well, I know from, you know, my last time in North Carolina, Bojangles, that was really good. I don't know if you guys ever go to North Carolina or no?
Is that barbecue?
It's chicken and biscuits. And that barbecue place down the street from the PD. Forget what.
Smokehouse,
Yeah.
Georgia Boys.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the burn ends, I miss that. And just, you know, I miss Shanann's cooking, that's for sure. Like her spaghetti sauce and her fried pizza.
Yeah.
Fried pizza?
I don't think I've heard of that. What is
I've
that?
never heard of that.
So her mom has, or I think it was her mom, her grandmother on her mom's side had this like this dough, homemade dough you can make, and just make up the dough, and she would make it up with Bella and Celeste sometimes, so like a little smaller one, but she would make the really big one, and then she would put it in the oven, the bottom oven, and let it sit there for a couple hours, not put it on or anything, just let it rise. And then once it's done, take it out, form it, throw the spaghetti sauce she has, spread it around, and throw the mozzarella and pepperoni and put it on the oven 350. And
But what part of it is fried though?
well, they have some parts that you put on the grill. You can put it on the put it on the stove too.
Okay.
It's really good. I mean, it's really thick.
Yeah.
So you got
Apparently we need this from
Yeah.
Sandy.
I will work on that.
Yes. Write a note.
yeah.
Are you able to stay out of trouble here?
Yeah. No.
Nobody's getting any fights? You're not getting written up for anything? You're not getting... Okay.
I try to keep a low profile here. So.
Have you thought about like writing a book or anything like that?
No, that's nothing like that. My mom and dad. Sorry, what was it?
No, go ahead.
My mom and dad are saying maybe you should like write down like how you feel or like, you know, how you've been dealing with this type thing. Just write it down, and that would be my story. But I'm just like, I'm not writing a book. That's not me. I mean, I've always had a really crazy imagination. So like when I was a kid, like I even convinced my teacher I went to Japan over the summer or to China or something. But she said, you know, like, you know, you should just write down, like, you know, your story, like, how you cope with this.
Why did you convince your teacher you had gone to another country?
It was just, like, what you did over the summer. And I was like, I went to China. I started writing. And she actually believed it. I was really convincing. So,
Well, you're a smart dude.
yeah. It was, and they, like, parent-teacher conference said, so how was China? What? Okay.
There might be a couple more things you want to go over.
Okay.
Is that something you're up for?
That's fine.
Okay. And then the other thing is, we might be back in a month and a year and 2 years, if you're up for it.
Okay.
Now that's way down the road, but I guess maybe in the back of your mind, just think about that. I hope so far today's been all right for you.
Yeah, it's been, honestly, when I walked in, I was just like, wait, I know these
Where do I
people.
know these guys?
I looked at you, I'm like that's not the site counselor, that's, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah.
They're Colorado people.
And then let's pass that A&E sergeant. I was like, all right, who am I meeting?
So, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it, but we need to get a tiny bit more into the weeds and into the mechanics of the time you showed up at the house when Officer Coonrod was there,
Okay.
till the time when we were all done talking.
Okay.
So that includes at the house, that includes at the oil site, and everything.
Okay.
And part of the reason we need to get into that is, I mentioned before how we're just really want to get into the mindset of what happened. And you can imagine this is really important for us in the future when we're talking to a guy that's in your position to say, you know, this isn't really a monster. This is more like a Chris Watts. And boy, we remember with Chris, had we asked this or had we done this, we really could have been better. And so that's why we want to get into the mechanics of it a little bit more with you. And that's going to mean exactly how, exactly when, where were you, what was, you know, Shanann wearing, or all of that, right? So we really just need for you to take a deep breath and get into it with us. And would it be all right if we ask you some specific questions? Okay. So one of the first things we want to talk about was when you came home. So this is after they had passed, and you came home and met with Officer Coonrod. One of the first things we see on the video is you walking into the garage and then into the Shanann's car. Remember what that was about?
In your car?
Yeah, like I think you opened a door or something?
Yeah, you opened the passenger door, and it looks like you were looking for something, or maybe you picked something up. Do you recall what that was?
Not that I'm aware of. Not looking for anything, but maybe just opening the car door to see if, like, see if they're, because I think Nikki was saying, I think I see the car seat still in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was,
Okay.
when I opened up the door, I looked in just to, it's like the first, like, reaction of, like, everybody's just waiting, pretty much waiting to get in the house. Pretty much.
Right, right. Okay.
So I wasn't, like, looking for anything as far as specific or anything, but I was just, I don't know, this reaction going in there, and I know everybody's there. I don't know what's going to happen when they get in the house.
You just out of nervousness, maybe?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was out of nervousness.
Sure. Okay.
And then backing up a tiny bit, I jumped forward too far. So she comes home at 2 a.m. She gets into bed. Was, when you guys had sex together, was that pretty quickly after she came home?
I think it was around like 2:30, because I felt like she'd be in bed for a little while.
A little bit? Okay. And forgive me, it's not a pervy thing, but she woke you up?
Yeah, she was just, I could feel like a hand was on me, like rubbing my leg or my chest or something like that.
And then that was, you know, signal it's go time type thing?
Pretty much. She was like, yeah.
Okay, I get it. And then that was maybe a half an hour after.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, is there any talking? Or was it just kind of
Just like,
quiet in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Okay.
just like I just felt her hand around me. I'm just like, what? And it was
Time
like,
to go.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. All right. Then a couple hours of sleep. Alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess what I don't understand is, so then there was some talking, and then how did you get on top of her? How did that happen?
It's like when I got into bed, because she was laying, when she was sleeping, she was laying like face down, which she really never does.
Okay.
And I just got into bed and I kind of nudged her, and then she like kind of rolled over, and then I was just like right there on top of her.
Okay. And so that was after you'd gotten ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go down, you make your food.
Oh yeah, I got like cottage cheese and another couple things that I made for food that day.
Okay. And then, so this is, we talked a little bit earlier today about, there was all of these things playing in your mind where you just didn't even want to go another second without having this conversation or without some sort of completion, right? Mm-hmm. And then so you come back, she's asleep, and then you just kind of nudge her?
Yeah, I just kind of like, hey, look up for a second.
And was there nudge talk for 20 minutes, or was it just nudge and then all of a sudden you're on top of her?
No, she's pretty much on top.
Okay, so that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's how we kind of pretty much talked. Okay. That was just right there.
And was there talking?
Yeah.
Okay, and so a nudge, a talk, she's laying down and you're standing up?
I crawled back, I got on my side of the bed.
Uh-huh.
And I just like nudged her like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're talking while you're on top of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That seems confusing to me. Is that actually what happened? Okay. And so...
And she was fine, like just laying there, like you trying to talk to her while you're on top of her?
I thought we were going to have sex again or something.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how long did you talk?
About 15, 20 minutes.
Really? In that position? Okay. And was there any sex?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I'm basically from the position that we're in. Maybe she thought maybe I'd try to go again. I don't know.
Okay. And I don't harp on it too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's 4 months pregnant and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to talk and I want to get on top of her, that's just not going to fly. So that's why I'm confused.
I know.
So, is that really what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. And then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then your hands are on her neck. Okay. All right.
What did the talk consist of?
Basically just about how at first it was more of like the selling the house type of thing, or not going to Aspen, or trying to maybe go in at a different time, and then it just switched all to the I don't feel like I'm in love with you anymore, not compatible. Went to that, and that's when I got to the heated part of it.
Okay.
Did she ever say at some point, get off of me or anything like that?
At the end,
Yeah.
that's what she said. I don't want you to feel like because where I was, it was kind of like she didn't want me to like to sit down or like hurt the baby or anything like that. It was just kind of like,
Did she accuse you of cheating at that point?
mm-hmm.
So what'd she say?
She's like, I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I didn't come out and just say, that there is somebody else, but she obviously already knew.
Then your response to that was what? Did she say, no, there's not? Did you deny it?
I believe I just denied it, but at that point, because when she would accuse me at the beach, it was a lot of like, there's nobody else, there's nobody else, or like, and when we got back home, she always like said there's got to be somebody else, because she'd always talk to her friends like Christina or somebody on text messaging, and they'd always say there's got to be somebody else. If he's not wanting to sleep with you, like he's getting it from somewhere else, and there's nowhere else. She couldn't really say that I would get anywhere else because I was using those Antarctica gift cards, so it's kind of like she just me getting distant, but she knew, and that's mainly the reason why I talked to her, because I knew like after that night it was just like it felt like I just felt guilty, more guilty than ever before.
Yeah. And then it seems to me, and sorry, I had a lot of thoughts here. So we know what happened, and we can talk about it today kind of openly, and that's what we need from you, is to just kind of say, I know it sounds bad, or I know this, or I know I feel this way, but physically this is exactly what happened. So if you can tell us that, it seems then that it would have had to been a pretty quick transition from two people talking to this,
Yeah.
right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was like, I don't want to trying to think of the last things we were talking about, but it was, you know, I don't feel like I love you anymore. And then she was like, you're never gonna see the kids.
Oh,
That was it.
that's perfect, Chris. That's exactly what we need. Okay. And I know it's hard to walk through that again, but that's exactly what we need. So then, as soon as she started talking like that, then it was on. Okay.
But it was you saying that you didn't love her, is that right? Okay.
And her saying you're never going to see the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I can imagine how that made you feel. I'm sorry.
It did more than what it did.
Yeah. And then the fact that she didn't scratch at you or anything, is that just because it was so powerful?
I don't think it. I mean, it didn't feel like I've never done that before. Put my hands around anybody before, so I don't even know what kind of force I was putting on her neck.
Okay.
But like I said, 2 to 4 minutes. I don't know if that was 2 to 4 minutes.
Did you cover her face at all during that time?
Both hands on the neck. Okay. And so if it's done right, I mean, that can be a matter of seconds before someone on their carotid loses oxygen to their brain and it's out, right? Did it seem like it was that quick, or? Okay. Maybe a minute, maybe 2? Okay. Screaming? Okay. All right. Did you see eyes go bloodshot or anything like that? Okay. Okay.
You kept talking about the mascara. Did you see mascara on her face?
It looked like it was like. That's what I attributed it to.
Was she crying? Is that why? At what point did she start crying?
When I'm talking about the relationship about not being compatible. And when she's talking about there's somebody else, that's where she started crying. That's what I thought, you know, it was mascara. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if it was it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Was there a pillow or something you wanted to ask about?
Yeah, so was there ever at any time a pillow or the sheet or anything involved in like that on her face specifically? No?
No, like the sheet I kind of wrapped around to get downstairs. That was about it.
The one that was at the site? Okay. And then the other sheets, they were in the trash. At what point did you put those in there?
I think that was...
Obviously after I was in the house.
Yeah. I think it was probably the next day or so. I think it, like, I don't know. I'm not sure, like, what happened. This is hard to talk about, like, when
Yeah.
strangle someone. I don't, like, sometimes I guess they use the bathroom. So it was like, I think that's one of the major reasons why, because I think that had happened.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You said she was sleeping face down at one point? Was her face in the pillow, or was it turned to the side, or how did that?
Kind of like on the side. She was kind of like a side sleeper, but she was more down than usual.
Okay.
But then she rolled completely onto her back when you started talking to her?
Okay. Now, as hard as that was, we need to talk about the girls too, okay? All right, thank you. So with the girls, we talked about how they got into the truck with you and were alive, okay? Are you 100% sure that's true? Okay.
Can we go back just a second? You talked about before that Bella walked in, though, to the bedroom. Can you tell us about that before you left?
Yeah, I was just getting the sheet off the bed, and she had walked in, and she had her little pink blanket with her. She's like, what's wrong? Jumping on me.
And where was Shanann at that point?
Yeah, just pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
Wrapped in the sheet? What'd you say?
I just said, she didn't feel good. That's when I tried to carry her downstairs.
Shanann? Okay.
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Tempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip after a little while and just had to pull.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She's like, what's wrong with Mommy?
And what'd you say that time?
I said, she doesn't feel good. she's a smart girl. She didn't know what was going on there.
Did she ever touch Shanann? Try and wake her up or anything? No.
She didn't want to see her or ask to see her or anything. And so that initial time, did she see you put Shanann in the truck? So she was kind of following you? Okay. So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Okay. And then what?
CeCe wasn't up yet. I think she was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed. And then they were just walking around the house. I was put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grabbed the kids and then put them in the bench seat in the back.
Okay. And so Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench? Okay. And both alive at that point? Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
They were.
Okay.
Wasn't it a video or anything?
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunities to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly. Okay.
They were alive.
Okay.
Trust me, I hear that every day when Bella was talking to me at the site.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
When she said, "Daddy, no." When we were driving to the site, she said, "Daddy, it smells."
Oh. Okay. So that goes back to maybe Shanann evacuating herself.
I don't know if it was that. They know that smell like a skunk maybe sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So I got some kind of smell that way, but I don't know what that was from.
And was that maybe outside the truck or was that in?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. What did you guys talk about on the way out?
They were pretty quiet. They just, laid next to each other.
Okay.
Maybe Bella in her lap and CeCe in her lap, just back and forth.
Oh, okay. Just trading off like little ones do. Okay. Were they awake?
I think one would kind of fall asleep, the other one, CeCe would kind of trade off back and forth.
Were they talking to you?
Just about, just saying, "Daddy, it smells."
Oh, okay.
It was early in the morning. They were showing up that early.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have to? So you didn't have to wake CeCe up?
No, there was the noise from trying to get Shanann down the stairs.
Did she kind of fall down the stairs?
No, it was more like trying to get her down and from the steps, maybe her foot hit the next step kind of thing.
Oh.
They're light sleepers.
So then, once you get to the site, tell me what happens.
So I get to that one site and I get Shanann out to that. Pull over to the part right off the site there.
Okay.
And the girls are still in the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask that.
What they say specifically?
It was more like, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. And then is that when you buried her?
I don't remember if I dug a hole there first but they didn't watch me do that.
Okay. So then pulled Shanann out and she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground?
Yeah, like off to the side.
Off to the side, close to where she ended up?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. CeCe was first. Okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay. Was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so once again, was it a hand over her face? Was it?
It was a blanket over and my hand.
And then your hand. Okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing, type thing. Okay. Did she struggle at all?
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth?
And were you just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
Just sitting there next to it. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. And then, did that take a minute or two?
Didn't feel it. Nothing I didn't have no like concept of time at this
Okay.
point.
Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I wasn't. If I was thinking it's what would happen.
Yeah.
Or any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened. So I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull CeCe out?
I pulled CeCe out.
Okay, so once CeCe's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled CeCe out. What'd you do with her?
And I think
Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay. With regard to that tank, did you bring up CeCe, put her down, open the hatch,
brought her up, opened the hatch.
and then put her in? Okay. When we talked the very first time we met, when we were talking about this, it was a matter of just lowering her down. Okay, and so she went in feet first. Okay. Was she able to fit pretty well? Was it snug?
I think so.
Okay. Did you have to like move her around a little bit and get her in there?
I think so.
Okay. All right.
I didn't have to like, hit her like,
Okay.
like that.
It's not like you stomped her in?
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch?
Yes.
Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to CeCe. Or she asked if it was the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as CeCe.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Chris?
She had that soft voice she always had.
Yeah. And what exactly did she say?
She said that it's the same thing that happened to me as CeCe. And then I said, I don't even remember what I said.
Okay.
I don't know if I just said yes like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. And that's the last thing she said.
Did she say no daddy like please no daddy type thing? Did she say saying don't do it?
And she said, no, Daddy.
Okay. Same way, hand on neck, hand over mouth, or hand over blanket, which is over mouth? Okay. Did that take a couple minutes?
I feel like it.
Okay. Then what?
I just noticed she had a couple spots like over her eye or something, and I picked her up. And same thing.
And we talked a little bit earlier today about it. You don't remember why a different tank? Okay. And there was no reason?
No, they're both the same tanks. There's just like I don't know why I did two different things.
Okay. There's one. I never got up there. Does one catwalk lead to both?
Oil can go into either tank.
Okay. But if you go up one set of ladders, does that eventually
Yes,
indicate you both?
It's one catwalk.
Okay. Now Bella was a little bit bigger. Was she harder to get in?
It felt like it a little bit.
Okay. And so was it a matter of just kind of maneuvering her? All right. So then they're both in there. Is there any reason to think they were alive when they fell in? Okay. You're pretty sure? Okay. So once that's done, then what?
Go over to Shanann, clear away some weeds, and dig a hole.
Okay. Did you have a shovel?
Yeah, we have a shovel, a rake, and a weed whacker as part of our tools.
With that rake, if I remember right, it was
part of it was sitting there because it was broken.
Oh, did it break as you were digging or something?
No, when I was like smoothing the ground over.
On this day, it broke when you were doing that. Okay. Was that after you were all done? And it seemed as though maybe the first people that got there saw it. Was it stuck in the ground?
I guess it was like not like standing up, but it was like laying down.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on coming back?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. at this point then, this is just before then, in a couple of hours, you would make it back home to see Officer Conrad. Okay. And so once she's buried, then
That's when people start showing up, I believe.
did you notice, was she cut or broken or bleeding in any way?
No, I mean, I know, like, the bloodshot eyes you were talking about, I noticed that at that point.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Had she partially given birth?
No.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. Remember, she had a shirt and I think blue underwear on.
Okay.
That's it.
And so at that point, she was, okay. Thank you. I know that wasn't me.
Can you tell us about, obviously, you know, when the district attorney got up and talked about Bella's injuries and stuff,
I didn't want to hear about that.
right? Can you tell us about that?
As far as, like, her biting her tongue,
And ripping her frenulum, which is that connective skin from your lip to your gum, it was gone. Her gums had it looked like a hole in them and the pathologist said it was from her obviously struggling to get away.
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Could it be that that's what happened?
So, like, I didn't put my hand, like, over her, like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it would have been just downward pressure on this area.
I didn't see any of that when I picked her back up. Like, was it like her lip was, like, missing or something?
No, see this skin that
Uh-huh.
connects there?
Yeah.
That was ripped. Like, it was gone. So it kind of made like a hole in her gum.
I'm just thinking maybe it's like, maybe like if her head was like twisting back and forth, could that have done that?
Yeah.
If I had a blanket, I don't know, like.
Did you feel her doing that thrashing or trying to get away?
I
or-
felt her head moving back and forth,
You did.
but I didn't know that had happened.
Could you tell if she was trying to yell or say anything or?
The only thing was Daddy no, and then like some like a grunt here and there, trying to breathe.
During that time, do you remember getting phone calls from Nicole Atkinson?
After, I think, before she got to my house or after?
Just any time during that morning.
I think I didn't get one until I saw her on my doorbell camera.
And that was, what, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it was right around there.
Okay. There was a lot to do about coming home and listening to that Metallica song. Have you heard about that?
I've
Battery.
heard of a Metallica song that people have been, someone sent me lyrics to it, called Battery.
Do you remember doing that?
That was Nikki Kessinger. She liked the song, or she just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
So that's
And that's why you looked it up?
I just kind of looked at I didn't have the CD with me, so I didn't, I just kind of looked at the words a little bit.
And was that on the way home? Oh, that was just a different time?
That was a different time.
Okay, and so the media probably got a hold of that.
Because it says Battery.
Right, okay.
But it's like, it's more about like a family coinciding as a battery.
Okay.
Not like, hitting somebody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why did Nikki want to know what it meant? Like, how did that come
I
up?
don't know. It was kind of strange. I mean, she's very into different types of music, and I mean, music I never really thought I'd ever listen to. And like, she got me into a few things there as far as music was, but like, Battery was something that she asked me because I knew Metallica pretty well. She just wanted to know, like, hey, what's the lyrics mean? I just looked it up just to look at all the words together and just put it in my head again, and that was it. We just made something out of nothing. That's why it was strange. I got those lyrics in a letter.
Oh, so now does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, someone sent me the lyrics to it.
Yeah.
I think that guy from California.
The one that was
the
18
kid?
at one point.
The senior? Was it your intent the whole time you were taking the girls out there that you were gonna do that to them? Honestly.
It's like when I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you talking about the tanks or just.
Yeah, like just.
I mean, thought process and all this, none of this makes sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions, because it doesn't make sense to me.
But I guess, I mean, like, you could have done it before you guys left.
I know.
And not had him, alive in the back seat. They could have been with Shanann in the back seat.
I didn't think about anything really, like, as far as, like, how everything was going to happen. I don't know, like, why it happened. Like, why I left everything out there in the field and why, like, all this stuff. Like, just, none of this makes sense. At all.
But to Tammy's point, did you think that they might be coming back, or did you know they wouldn't be coming back?
No, I mean, the whole trip out there, I mean, it was like I wasn't thinking. It was like, in my mind right now, I'm thinking back, I'm hoping that I wasn't coherent enough to make that decision to where I knew I was going to kill my girls. I'm just hoping that, no father would ever want to do anything to hurt his blood and flesh, but I did that, and I just don't understand how it happened. So, I mean, I even read books that say, no dad would ever do anything to hurt his children, and this happened. So I always think to myself, like, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. But it just
You were so angry at Shanann or whatever that you were gonna, anyone in your path of destruction or whatever was gonna get it, basically, kind of, is what you kind of made it sound like. I'm not saying that exactly right, but why were you so angry at Shanann?
I don't know if it was just because of separating me and my family, pretty much. Because, I mean, it happened at the wedding. Like, that's the reason they didn't come to the wedding. I mean, I blew up at my family to a point where I said some horrible things to them back in 2012 that I pretty much told my family that, I don't need them anymore because I said, I cussed my mom out. I did all this kind of stuff. I never thought, and I don't know if it was just like Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just like rage that was like I'd never seen before. And then I don't know if it was just everything that happened in July, but they can't see my kids, and I'm not sure if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just like, I don't know if that had something to do with it, that something inside of me just triggered it, and then just like all that pent up from the wedding and everything, just like, it's like a long fuse that finally just went to its end.
What was the blow up at the wedding about?
It was just my mom and pretty much my sister just, I think she didn't like her.
Oh.
They just thought, that that Shanann had taken me away from them and moved me out to Colorado.
Oh.
Because we were in Colorado when we flew back to get married.
Oh, okay.
Because we went to Colorado for Thanksgiving to visit some friends, and we decided to move out there like a couple months later.
Okay.
So that was like April. I moved out there April 2012, and we got married in November 2012 in North Carolina. So they always thought I was just taking, and she took me away out there. And
Was
then
there something with invitations or something? Your sister was supposed to send invitations?
Yeah, there was. Okay, now you're bringing some memories back. There's something to do with that, and then my sister wanted, her kids. Oh, my sister wanted her kids as like the ring bearer and like something else. Ring bearer and flower girl, and then Shanann she told her no, or wait, either Shanann told her no or Jamie backed out because of something else, and then it just like all blew up.
And is that pretty close to the wedding?
Yes, yeah, within a couple weeks.
Did they go to the wedding, your family?
My grandma did.
In your phone, or
She always had my phone.
she always checking your phone? So how did you get past that?
I use my work phone.
To text? And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you using anything else to have contact with her?
No, I just text her with my work phone. And like when Shanann and the kids went to North Carolina, she used my personal phone. And she just told me like to put pictures in an app, and I just found that calculator. I just put, just searched on the app store, like hidden pictures, and this calculator app first popped up.
Like in your iCloud or your whatever isn't linked together, so she would know if you're getting it, downloading apps and stuff like that.
They used to be a long time ago, but when we got different phones, or when our phone contact list would be synced up from the cloud and stuff, I couldn't have, she had tons of phone contacts. I just couldn't have all that, but it's still kind of linked up at one point. But as far as she asked me to get my own iCloud now, just to kind of free that up a little bit.
How about your Facebook account? You deleted that at some point. When did you do that? And
I
why?
think it was, got back August 7th. Went to work. I think it was probably August 8th. That's when I think told me she told her friends about me. And I just figured, they'd probably look me up on Facebook and see that Shanann was pregnant. If Nikki already knew it probably already, but the reason why I did that.
Did you and Nikki ever fight?
We never fought, but like I said, I had to calm her down a bunch of times.
Yeah, you started to mention that when we were talking to you before about her getting upset about some video or something about being bipolar, or
Well,
what are you talking about?
I think either my dad told me about that, or John Walsh told me about she made a couple videos when she was just talking to herself, saying that she was bipolar or something like that. But a lot of things was when she realized that she's the other person in the relationship, that I'd always put my wife first over her, and that's what kind of made her take a step back a few times, and then I had to kind of calm her down.
Tell me about those times. What'd that look like?
So the first one was probably around July 4th when I had to leave her house, because she wanted to kind of spend most of the day together before she went to a baseball game or something.
Jim, thank you.
He worked in the oil field, North Dakota, I believe, and I guess he's been a friend of hers for a long time, and it's kind of like a shoulder to cry on. There's always somebody that's always been around for her, and I guess he's had a couple girlfriends, and I guess he's hadn't had much luck, I guess, in that department, as far as keeping girlfriends, and just him and Nikki have always been good friends.
Just platonic friends?
That's
as far as you know?
As much as I knew.
Yeah.
But I think they just been friends for a long time, especially up in oil field, North Dakota, or whatever he's working now. I think either Wyoming, they go all over the place.
When Sandy and Frank lived in the house for 15 months, what was that like?
It was, it was tough.
Financial stresses.
Yeah, the bankruptcy was something I never thought was going to happen. I think that was back in 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. But I never thought that was going to happen. And I never thought, a lot of it was from the wedding because they just put it all on credit cards. And so it was just, and then the doctor bills from endoscopies, and just girls seemed like they were sick every month. It seemed like some type of ear infection, which to figure out was just put the tubes in their ears and stuff. There was different operations here, a couple overnight stays in the hospital for breathing and stuff like that. So it was just, it all mounted up. I mean, I never thought it was that far gone, but
Was any of that from Shannon's neck surgery, or were those bills pretty well paid up?
Well, I think the bankruptcy never touched the medical part of it, because you have to be specify the medical part of it, medical bankruptcy, and then there's regular bankruptcy.
Oh,
I don't think bankruptcy ever touches student loans or medical stuff. You have to like be specific with that.
Okay.
But I think it just took away like a lot of the furniture that we had bought, and then a couple other things inside the house. To kind of alleviate a lot of the. It took. We had to make the house payment by phone every month, and I had to listen to the bankruptcy spiel like every time, and it's just like I didn't know how long it was going to take.
Things just didn't go your way.
Everything was like somebody was stirring a pot, and it was just.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. So then, I know I keep bringing it up. Can you walk me through just the last few minutes before Shanann died?
It was pretty much just like I had gotten dressed for work, and then like we started talking.
Did she come to you?
No, I was just right there in bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, I got my blue shirt on, my jeans and everything.
You ready to go?
I was ready to go. And
Was she asleep, or did you have to wake her up to finish your conversation? Or?
I would wake her up because like she got home like 2 o'clock, so she pretty much out of it. But I never knew like if her plane got delayed. Someone always told me like she just like sat around with Nicole and just like talked for a while and then came home or something. I'm not sure if that was true.
It was delayed. Yeah.
But yeah, when she came home and everything, but yeah, like I woke her up to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is that because it was just eating at your brain?
Yeah, like I knew like something like something just didn't feel right with me. So I know like she knew. I just knew she knew. I just felt like maybe the kids weren't going to be there when I got home that day.
Oh, interesting. Now, I don't mean to offend, but I have to ask: is that really the truth? Okay.
I really felt like they weren't going to be there when I got home that day.
Oh. And
Like
so,
she would take them somewhere?
No, I just felt like either maybe I wouldn't go home, maybe they weren't going to be there, or I wouldn't be allowed in, type thing.
I think I saw some text messages where Shanann talked about that she would take the kids to another state or something because she wouldn't be able to afford to live in Colorado or something like that. Did she say that kind of stuff to you, or
Yeah.
what did she say about that?
She said she couldn't afford to live in Colorado on her own, and that I told her like, well, drive. I mean, she pretty much makes the same amount I do.
Yeah.
But she said she wouldn't want to try, just because Colorado just price of living there was a lot higher than North Carolina.
And just so I'm clear, you thought maybe she in your mind, you thought maybe she would take the kids somewhere else or like lock you out of the house or
just like I wouldn't want to make a scene like trying like pound on the door trying to get in or anything like that. But like, I just felt like that was what I did on Sunday. It was kind of like, or Saturday night was kind of like the last straw. Kind of like going out with somebody and using an actual bank account card and just like not trying to hide it at all.
So walk me through it though, because she comes home, she touches you, you guys have sex, you fall asleep, then you wake up for work, all natural, all a normal day's work type thing.
Yeah.
What was it that made you think, I just can't do this anymore, I have to talk to her?
It was eating away at me. Like I knew like something, and I knew everything that I did. Like I know like when I was with Nikki, it was different. Like I wasn't even like in the realm of I'm a dad, I'm a husband type thing.
Oh.
And then like I was saying, when I'm never at home, like sleeping in my own bed, like I have no like concept of that anymore.
Interesting.
It
So
was
in your mind and heart, you can live moved on.
Like it kind of felt like if I wasn't at home, like I didn't think about it almost, because like if I wasn't sleeping on my own, like I think there was at one point like Nikki had gone to the mountains with her friends for like a few days, like into June, first part of July, and then like that part obviously I was at home, but like from that whole month of July on, it was like I was never at home. Like I never had all those reminders around me. I never had, like every time my wife would call me, I would be at Nikki's house.
Oh. While she was in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would like, walk outside and talk to her, like when I was next to the car or something like that. But I would never be at home looking like have all these pictures around me, just being in the same bed, seeing my kids' beds, seeing everything that that we built for the last 6 years.
And so, did you just want to once and for all get it out in the open?
I just wanted to just tell her how I was feeling at that point in time. Like, I didn't feel like me and her were compatible anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't feel like that because what was going on with Nikki, it was new. It was new.
Right, absolutely.
Anything that's new always feels better than the old.
Yes. And it
You were
makes think
probably
differently.
bitten by the love bug.
Yeah,
That's how a lot of therapists talk
unfortunately,
about it.
but
Yeah.
it was just like, I never felt that. I mean, even like with new relationships in the past, like it always feels different, like, you know, the first couple weeks and then, you know, but it just, with someone Nikki felt different. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like you said, like, you know, I was more in control and like it was more of like, maybe more of me coming out. Because Shanann always said, like, it always seemed I was more myself around other people, like, you know, her cousin Cody, like, you know, like Cody lived or came up, visited us for a little bit while we were in Colorado for a little while, and Cody always talked about, like, how Chris is so funny, Chris is like, Shanann would always just like, oh, you're never like that with me. I'm just like, you know, maybe I always felt nervous around you.
There's only so much oxygen in the room, right? I say this to some people with dominant personalities. You know?
I just always felt nervous. I always felt like I was, you know, I never could actually just, you know, be myself.
Right.
Nikki, I was myself, like, all the time. It was just different.
Well, and it seems as though, and again, it's hard to talk about, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but it also seems, is it accurate to say that sexually you were able to say, Nikki, this is what I would like, this is what I'm into, or blah, 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 and maybe not with Shanann?
No, Nikki just wanted, I mean, she wanted what she wanted. She wanted to do it pretty much all the time. I was just like, okay, that's fine with me. You know?
Okay.
You know, with Shanann, it was like, I'm like, hey, sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. But that wasn't the case as far as that way. It wasn't just like sex or whatnot. But
Okay.
it was mainly, I was just more myself. I could, like, you know, just not think about what I was going to say or plan what I was going to say or not, you know, say something stupid or something. But,
Right.
A little bit of freedom.
Can I ask you something about that morning that you had sex with Shanann? Did you feel at all like maybe you were kind of cheating on Nikki by doing that?
I felt strange. I felt like, you know, the first time I was with Nikki, I felt weird. First time, like,
Sure.
and then the last time I was with Shanann, I felt totally strange. I was just like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I had become. I felt like I had become people I see on TV, and that did not feel right with me. Like, I didn't know what had happened to me. So Nikki even asked me, like, have you done this before? Have you ever strayed away? I'm like, I've never even thought about it. It's like, what's different? It's like, I guess it's just you that's different, because I just never actually, like, I've seen girls smile at me before, never done anything about it. With her, it was just like, it's like she had a leash on me and she tugged me away. As soon as she walked, I'm like, what the heck, what's going on? So,
Well, and Tammy brings up a very good point. I wonder if that last time with Shanann having sex had somewhat of a role in you thinking,
like a trigger?
I gotta do something, I gotta say something, we gotta have a talk, something's gotta change. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I felt like it was like maybe like a trigger point or something, like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up.
Right.
Just something in my head was just like something was irking. Just like I had to say something.
Okay. So then exactly what did you say and what happened?
So when I woke her up and just like, hey, we just gotta talk.
Okay.
And just like I told her, I don't feel compatible. I don't feel like this is gonna work. I just, you know, I don't wanna, like, can we cancel the trip to Aspen? Because she had booked a trip that week
Oh.
to go to some like mystery 4-star luxury hotel or something.
Just the two of you or the whole family?
Just me and her.
Okay.
And she had Amanda there, couldn't watch the kids that weekend or something.
Okay.
And I was just like, can we cancel that? Can we like do something? Like, from what I remember, I even said, can we move to Brighton just to get away from like this house?
Oh.
But like, I'm not sure if that was like in the beginning or the end of part of the conversation or whatnot. That conversation went so many different ways. Like they had gone from like staying together to not staying together to just like all the above.
Okay. So this is half an hour, what?
Definitely not more than half an hour. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think.
Are you crying? Is she crying?
It's back and forth. It's like, you know, she's got, you know, mascara. She didn't wash her face when she got home. So she had makeup on still, so mascara was running all over her and stuff like that. And yeah, it was nothing about that conversation. I just wish I could take all of it back, just the whole Nikki thing back, everything. But
So then when did it turn?
as far as that conversation, just at the end when I was telling her like I told her I didn't love her anymore. That's when it happened.
What happened?
She told me to get off her, and then I put my hands on her.
Okay.
Did you say she said something like that you were hurting the baby or something?
That was before that, because when I was straddling her, it was kind of like around her waist type deal.
Why did you get on her like that?
I just when we got on the bed, that's just where I got on.
Is that so she would listen to you?
I felt like she could probably listen to me just laying beside her, but I got on top of her. And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her? I don't know.
Really? That's an interesting thought, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you knew.
Just like everything that happened that morning, I don't know, like I try to go back in my head, I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. Everything just kind of like...
Felt like you had to?
It just felt like it was... I don't even want to say it felt like I had to. It just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it, and then I woke up that morning, it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
You never thought about it before?
It was just like, I don't want... Like you said, like in the sentencing hearing, that prosecutor said it takes 2 to 4 minutes for something like that to happen. Like, why couldn't I just let go? I didn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why couldn't I just let
Was
go?
it feeling like it was in motion and you just couldn't stop it?
Yeah, it was just like, I don't even want to know what she saw when she looked back at me, honestly.
Did you look at her? What was she doing?
She wasn't fighting.
Why do you think she wasn't fighting?
Maybe she was praying. Maybe she was just. Now I read the Bible. It said, where the scripture says, "Don't forgive these people, for they do not know what they do."
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was saying that. I don't know what she was saying in her head, but she, like when you guys told me, like, take off your shirt and check for defensive wounds, and there wasn't going to be any. She didn't fight. I don't know why.
Like she didn't grab. Could she grab your arms, or were her arms pinned down, or?
Not that I remember. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think like I moved to where my knees were around her arms or anything. But it was just kind of like when I got on top of her, we started talking. That was it. It's kind of like in my head, or like in the back of my head, that was going to happen, and just like at the end of the conversation, it was just like that's what happened. I just wish I could have let go.
Did it seem like it was that long? 2 to 4 minutes? How long did it seem for you?
Almost kind of felt like it was longer almost, because it felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but it just like I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
At some point there was a statement about rage. Do you feel like you were in a rage at that point?
That's the only way I can describe it, honestly. Like a snap or something. I mean, I know, I guess my attorney had said like some, strangulation is more of like a, I don't know, passionate type thing. I'm just like, I don't know how that can be passionate.
It's just intimate because you're right in there,
Yeah.
using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
It just felt like somebody was like behind me, and just like, I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting to me because there was a lot of things in your life that were like that, right? Where you're just like, maybe felt out of control, or maybe felt like, I don't know why I couldn't take a step back, or, like even when you said, when your buddy was like, let's go to the football game, you wanted to say yes, you just couldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to. Like, I I haven't been to a football game since North Carolina, so I was just like, yeah, sure. Like, I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to just text him, hey, you know, babysitter fell through, can go.
So, then what?
Just, after, you know, Shanann was, once she was gone, it was just like, I didn't know what was going on. It's like, it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type, and everything, and like, I was shaking, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I had done. I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time. Like most people say, like, why don't you just call 911? Why it's like, unless you're in that situation, you don't know. You don't know what you would have done. Mm-hmm. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Like you said, if somebody shoots somebody, you don't know what is going through their mind at that point in time. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you'd have done.
So what happened next?
Bella came in.
Is that what happened? Bella came in. What she said?
Wrong.
Did she hear something? Is that what she came?
Obviously, I think.
Okay. What'd you tell me?
Somebody don't feel good.
And then, did that happen with Bella right in that room?
Not in front of her.
What happened?
She walked in as, you know, she's docking up. She was sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Did you take her back to her room?
I put Shanann in that sheet and found it sight.
Okay. And what?
Carried her downstairs and backed my truck up.
At that point, were the girls still there? Okay. So then Shanann's in the truck. Then went back to the house.
Got everybody back in the truck.
Was Bella first or was CeCe first?
In the truck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Shanann was first, and then Bella was next. Was Bella alive when you guys got in the truck? Oh, okay. What happened?
I woke back up.
Okay.
I don't really want to talk about this part, honestly.
Okay.
Those are my kids. This is my baby. I have to talk to them every night. Help us get up.
Okay.
Every time I see pictures of them, I don't know how this could have happened. You know, being a dad was the best part of my life. I took it all away.
I think that's the hardest part for us, Chris, is we see those videos, we see that love that you had for your girls. Like, it's obvious to us, and even to us, it's hard for us to understand how a dad who's given piggyback rides and, you know, making snacks and watching princess movies and those kinds of things, how you get to that point, you know?
I don't know. Like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
Like when that prosecutor said that Bella bit her tongue, like repeatedly, I just wanted to just bang my head up against the wall.
So you put Shanann in the truck, and then you put the two girls in the truck? Were they just sitting in their car seats, or I guess they didn't probably have car seats in your truck, did they?
No, they were sitting in the back with in that bench seat.
So Shanann was back there too?
She was on the floor.
What did they say about Shanann being on the floor?
Mommy, okay?
What'd you tell them?
She'll be fine.
Did you have their stuff with them? Like their toys and their blankets and stuff?
They had something with them that they carried. One of them, I think CeCe and Bella had like a blanket or something with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pink blanket or...
What about the dog? I think one of them had a dog, right? That talked or... Dog.
Yeah,
CeCe?
Yeah, one of them had like a little barking dog.
Was that with you too? Do you know?
I think it was. Trying to, it's hard to remember. Like if
Yeah.
they had like the big blanket, small blanket.
So, I think I saw on the video that you put a gas can or something in the back of your truck. Is that right? Did you have different plans when you put that in there?
I don't know what was going through my head. I feel like maybe I could just get rid of myself at the same time if I was doing all this, honestly.
Yeah.
Did you just think about that?
What'd you think about that?
I didn't feel like I deserved to live after what had happened.
Was there any thought to the whole family going away that day, to include you?
After everything happened, that's a definite thought.
Yeah. See, it's interesting to me. We had all kind of wondered if there was a point when you were all together and if you were all going to pass together. That to me makes sense because that's, even though it sounds crazy, that's what a family man does, right?
Family man doesn't do what he did.
No, I know. I guess what I mean is, it seems like you guys were going to be together forever in that way. Is that maybe what was going through your head?
Honestly, I just felt like I didn't deserve to live.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever judgment I was going to come upon myself, I just didn't deserve to be on this earth anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Okay.
So what made you not do that? Do you think?
I don't know if it was just more of like a, because with the site, maybe it was just more of like, I would have hurt more people than just me and everybody else. Like, I know there was other people out there, not like at the site, but other people like maybe out in the area. Like, I didn't want something like on the site to catch fire and blow up, and then other people around would get hurt in the same.
So you were thinking initially about starting a fire out there or an explosion or something, or?
Just no, not for that. Just like maybe I could just take care of myself and that would have been good.
How?
Gasoline, that's the only thing you do. I mean, I don't have a gun. I don't have anything like that. It's not like you can just commit suicide that way. But it's
So
just
just
like,
to blow yourself up?
I mean, it was just, I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have weapons. I've never hunted before in my life. I don't know what. I mean, nothing was right that morning.
Yeah. I remember you kept telling me that. You kept saying, I didn't know what I was doing, Tammy. I didn't know. Like,
Yeah, when you asked me
I
about the
remember-
sheet, like what were you doing? Like I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. I think you were just like in automatic mode, or it seemed like. So did you drive straight out there? So what were you thinking on the way out there?
It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just like, nervous, shaking, not knowing like, what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I know like my life is completely changed. I don't know like what's happening. Like honestly, like I try to picture that whole ride, like it's like 45 minutes to an hour ride out there. And it's just like, couldn't I have like saved my girl's life? Couldn't I have done something? Why did I do that? I don't know.
Right.
Like this is my flesh and blood. This is like what I wanted all my life was to be a dad, just to have, you know, kids, and they love me, they, you know, all that, and it just nothing made sense.
Right.
Like the oil tank, nothing made sense. I'm just like, what the doing?
Mm-hmm. So what happened when you got out there?
I took Shanann out just to a place off to the site,
Mm-hmm.
and then
What were the girls doing when you were doing that?
just sent them back to the truck.
And then what happened after that?
CeCe was first. She did have a blanket. She had a blue blanket. A Yankee blanket.
So was she alive when she went into the oil tank? No.
I put the blanket over her head.
And that's how she passed. Couldn't breathe.
I put the blanket over her head. I didn't want to. No. I strangled her right there in the back seat.
Okay.
What was Bella doing?
She's sitting right beside her.
Did she understand? Did she know what was going on?
She didn't say anything.
And then the same for Bella? Just without a blanket?
With the blanket.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look. It's like every time I closed my eyes, I just hear her saying, "Daddy, no," and that was it.
That's what Bella said.
I hear that every day.
You really? Sorry, man.
I'm sorry, it doesn't take anything back that I did.
I know. Is it possible that in your mind you didn't want them to suffer throughout their life? Was this like a mercy thing?
I mean, you can say that like after the fact, but it was just like, I don't.
You didn't feel like that during it?
I just didn't. I felt like it was just like an anger with Shanann, with everything, that I was just taking it out on everybody that was in front of me that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, kids growing up without their parents, I mean, depending on what grandparents or whoever they grew up with, seemed to be fine. But it was just like, it was an anger thing. It was just like.
And what were you so angry at Shanann about? Like, if you could pinpoint it.
Nothing that makes anybody to want to do this. I mean, you could be angry at your spouse like your whole life, but you should never have done anything like this. You should never let it get to that point. But I let it get to a point where I've never been angry before. Like, and this was like the epitome of being angry.
Yeah.
The epitome of like showing a rage. The epitome of like losing your mind. I mean, even like some people in here said, "Dude, like, the heck happened? You must have freaking snapped." And like, I just walked away. I'm just like, I don't see it in my mind how it could have, like, I look outside every day. I'm like, what could we be doing right now? But, right now I'd have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and more than likely a 1-month-old son. And a beautiful wife. And just like, right now it's just me.
Right. 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 Mhm. This is her purse.
That's her purse. It's her medication. She takes these. Her medication's still in here.
We're gonna get a hold of them. We're working on all that. Understandable. Like I said, we're doing what we can to try to find her here. Mhm. We do.
Is this her? Yes.
Her medication.
The Imitrex?
Yep. Either.
That's right there.
I would know about that. Possibly. Yep. Yeah. The bed's not made, no. She got home with Nicole. He didn't say who.
Too late, right?
he said he did. We're gonna try. All right. All right. Yep. We'll keep that in mind. All right. Thanks. Bye. Did you tell your mother-in-law that she went to a friend's today? Yeah. What friend?
I suppose she went to a friend's house, but that's all I knew.
Who was she supposed to go to?
That's all she told me. She said she's going to a friend's house to take the kids.
When did she tell you that?
This morning when we were talking about 4 and 5 o'clock.
What were you guys saying about red on the stairwell? I didn't see what he's talking about. No. I mean, I looked pretty thoroughly everywhere, and I'm not. Yeah, man, that's. Like a piece of wax or something. It's not blood. I don't see any signs of a struggle. Nothing's broken.
What I don't understand is, like, her phone is her life.
Right, and her purse and her wallet. I mean, the whole thing's.
And she doesn't lock that door unless she's home with the girls, like the top off, because that's pretty well open front door. Well, it's not open today. And those shoes, like the one upstairs, they go shoes. She orders a pair of them every year. She wears them during the winter. She hates to have socks on.
Those are the ones she normally wears.
She has them when she's home last night. That's her suitcase.
This is the suitcase she had yesterday.
the stuff she had last night?
Yep.
What's this? This is.
Oh, that's just some Anarcho stuff.
Is that your stuff?
Yeah, that's some stuff I was going to give to some people because they don't fit me anymore.
Oh, these are your jeans.
Yeah, it was like 38s. They're way too big now.
Okay. Well, give us a call, anybody, if you hear anything from her. Otherwise, I'm going to start putting together just in case we need to pull the trigger for a missing person. Yeah, I'm going to try to run some things down using her phone, and then see if we can't find somebody. If nobody's heard anything at all, then we'll probably pull the trigger a little bit quicker and go that route. So, I mean, you can do that now. You know, there's no reason. I mean, as far as like walking through fields and stuff like that,
A hospital.
you can do that now. If you guys want to start that, there's no reason you can do that right now.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, but the other things I'm going to do is a little more detail as far as digging into friends and addresses and things like that. But by all means, if you want to call hospitals and hotels even, see if she's checked in anywhere, whatever. But all right, I'll start with the friends list of maybe friends either one of you know about. So
I called everybody that I know that she would
that
call
she
and
would
talk
know.
to.
Okay. All right.
And she has one of those numbers because
I've got some of these. So. Okay. Want to talk before we go?
What about bank account checking into that? Do we need account numbers or anything, or have him call?
Yeah, find any credit cards. That's why I was asking about the credit cards if there are any missing, but none of yours are missing either.
Cash? She usually carry cash with her, or no?
Cash I gave her yesterday
Still in there.
Okay.
Because I paid her for the hotel because I'm providing and I paid her cash for it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll get your numbers, so we'll be in touch. Maybe one of us will be in touch as we go things like this. So there's some things we have to do before we go just flat out with some person. So that's stuff to do.
Is it good or bad that you know my son? I just had to ask.
I know everyone.
He knows a lot.
Comes with the job.
Yeah. Good or bad.
No, he's not bad. He's friendly.
Well, good or bad, I get to contact everyone eventually.
Okay.
so if it does go missing person, we like set up like a command center. I'm not sure like how that works.
No, actually, it's really not that.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's really not like that. What it'll be is in the computer system, so when she pops up somewhere, and then on top, everybody looking around, asking around.
Okay.
So really, what it is we're going to go back and do now will be part of that process, the missing persons process, is because we want to find out where she is with the kiddos involved.
Yeah.
Too. So they definitely want to run that part of it.
Is this a pretty current picture?
No,
No?
I've got one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Facebook is full. So.
Okay.
So that's where we start, and then like I said, what we do is we'll start calling around by all means, go through it. Anything you can think of. Even if it seems like no way, cover that base. Okay? And if you don't feel cover any of those bases, then call, and then we'll take care of that part of it. Okay? So, I mean, I've seen people do some really weird things, especially when it's with shattering news, and especially for women, it's real hard. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. It is what it is. Okay, they do some crazy things sometimes when things are going to change dramatically in their lives. So, all right, but we'll see. We'll run it down. Thank you. Okay.
What? You knocked and we opened.
You want mom's stuff?
We're going to go get in the car so we can go home.
You really want to?